Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon, and you know where I am. I'm at well, where am I? I'm in Las Vegas, having a wonderful time. I have Marneen Fields with me. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes,
Marneen.
yes, that's
I've never
correct.
heard of Marneen as a name. You were on one of my other shows. You were on my
That's right. I was on your Zoom interview
Ninon Speaks. You were
with
on.
AJ and you
Yes, that's
and
right. Yes.
Tim.
Yeah, there you go. The whole group was there, and here you are now on my show, which is a surprise because she came down, just walked in, right? We're pretty cool because we don't do that. We have to book people. So 2 people didn't show up. So here you are. It all works out. Always works out. Now you just written, or you have a screenplay that you wrote.
Yes.
Okay. And what's going on with this screenplay?
Okay. Well, it's Who's Going to Take Care of Me, and it's based
Oh,
on
I
my
like that. Who's gonna
mother's
take care of me? I'm ready.
true story. Ruby Marie Ferris Fields, and it's won. I have several award-winning screenplays and award-winning music compositions also.
Really?
Yes, and my mom's birthday is November 26th.
Okay, so she just had that.
Yeah, so I especially wanted to mention the screenplay that I've written that's won a lot of awards. She had a breakdown, and she went missing for nearly 10 years.
Your mother?
My mother, yes. With
That's not very cool.
no, it was very sad, very
Oh,
serious. Yeah.
Did she have dementia? Anything?
Well, she had a surgery where they removed a very large grapefruit-sized tumor from her abdomen, and she was 54, and she lost consciousness on the operating table, and she basically lost her mind, and she didn't know I was her daughter.
So was that? Did they touch a nerve or something? It sounds like it.
All I know is that they had to pump her heart to bring her back to life, and
Which they did.
Yeah, they did, and she was missing just about 10 years. She ran away from the family. She mentioned she didn't have her mind. It took me 6 months to find her through missing persons, but then she wouldn't come home. She was living in a homeless shelter. And it wasn't until those 6 months that we found out that they were saying that it was now schizophrenia, Alzheimer, and dementia.
All at one time?
All at one time. And so she didn't know my mom for 10 years, and she didn't know to get on medication. She couldn't comprehend anything. She basically sat on a curb and vegetated.
Was this all done? She was perfect before she went into the hospital.
Right. That's
so
absolutely.
this was all done from the operation. So be careful when you go and what hospital you go into and what you do, because this is a very, very sad story. I've never had a story like this.
Yeah,
Somebody missing.
This is her story, and that's why it's winning so many awards. And I'm trying
I
hope to sell it in 2022 to do something for the mentally ill who are homeless and their families worldwide, because it is just amazing that my mother ever even survived.
Did you know where your mother was at all times?
No, that's just it. I didn't know where she was for 6 months till she tried to use her driver's license. So she had hitchhiked from California to Oregon, and I found her in Oregon. I went up to bring her home. She wouldn't come home because she was issues with my dad and the loss of her mind and everything. And so then she slipped through the cracks for another nearly 9.5, nearly 10.
Now, when she was in Oregon, were you in touch with her in Oregon?
No,
I tried
to be. I went up there. I tried to bring her home. She refused to come home.
But did you keep in touch with her on those 9 months? I mean, I don't mean keeping in touch.
9 years.
9 years. Did you
years.
keep in touch, or did you know where she was? Not keeping in touch because she's obviously mentally ill, but did you know where she was over those 9 months?
No. She ran away again. She left that Oregon shelter, hitchhiked to Seattle, Washington, and I lost her for another 8 years until one day, and I was having operations and different things from a car accident that I had in past stunt work that, I was very successful. I was one of Hollywood's top stunt women in the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
And I was in bad shape. And so during the time that she was missing, I didn't know where she was, and I thought she was dead. And I received a phone call saying that I had gone through a baptism and had found God and all of this within
That sounds pretty good.
Yes, this was beautiful.
Yeah.
2 weeks of my baptism.
Were
my
you
mom's
talking to
found.
her about this? Oh, were you talking to her about this, or was it through somebody else?
No, she was not
Coherent.
I've heard that through baptism you are reunited with your family. And
So they were looking for the family, which they were looking for you and everybody else, right?
Right, and so I kept looking for her, and I kept sending letters to the Oregon shelter, and things were returned. And my dad died in the meantime, and my mom was someone who never should have had to have been homeless and in this situation, because we were, my dad, upper middle class, and there was money there when he died. Well,
see, I always tell everybody out there, it's not always all about money. Remember that this story is not about money at all. Everybody thinks because people are homeless or they don't have this or they don't have that, but sometimes it's because of the drugs and being mentally ill.
Right, this is mental illness.
So all the money in the world can't help her.
And this is right, and she couldn't comprehend to get the help and get the medication and everything. So I received a phone call that they found a KP Deswayne. My mom's name is Ruby Marie Fields. I just had a feeling it was her, and they had matched my original missing person report 9.5 years earlier with the markings on her body. She had very distinguished markings on her body that I put on the missing person report.
Really?
And so I went up there. She was riddled with cancer. She now had, which is part of the mental problem, she had a brain lymphoma, and it was the size of a man's wallet on her face and forehead and eye. And they had to lance that, take that off for radiation, chemotherapy. She had breast cancer. She was unmanaged. They called it viral schizophrenia. So they had to, get her on psychiatric medication.
You had to go through all this as a daughter.
Yes.
So we forget this side of it because this is your mom. I mean, this is, your mom is your
I didn't blink
mom.
an eye to go get her. Right? She was my best friend, and my mom, before this happened, she was beautiful. She was perfect. She was slender. She was just everything. She was the
You never
ideal.
thought in a million years that this would ever happen in your family. Especially, and you don't need money. You've got everything's going great. Everything's fun. Dad's doing his thing that he's supposed to do. And did you have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I had 2 brothers, and they weren't for me going to get her. They said, "Don't go get her; she will have changed." But I didn't blink an eye. I got her.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. They're just that way, They just didn't. It was embarrassing.
I don't want to say because they're men, because usually men absolutely adore their mothers. Normally,
That's right.
They normally love their moms.
Right, and were not able to handle the homeless thing. But see, she was only homeless because she couldn't understand to get on the medication and things. And so
wasn't there anybody around in the homeless arena? Because I know there's homeless homes that would have tried to give her, put some medication in a drink and something, so they could at least get her coherent and get her to realize that, okay, if I take this medicine, I'm going to be fine, I can go back home. But you said something that she did not want to go back home to her husband.
Right, she did not want to go back home.
Maybe that's why. I don't know.
She was divorcing my dad, and...
Oh, it was a little bit of a mix-up story there. So after a while, so now you've
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. So after a while, you are able to bring her back home?
So she went through all these surgeries, and for 6 months she was in a psychiatric lockdown facility. They got her on the medication. I flew back to Seattle. I became her guardian, and the happiest day of our life, and this is our favorite story, I brought her home to safety.
Oh,
I cared for her for 13 years until she died. And she ended up, the lymphoma made her blind. the radiation went from one eye to the other, and she ended her life in 2013 with me as a blind invalid in a bed with rails, but I kept her with me the entire time, and she became, oh, this is what's amazing, she, because of the dementia, she lost her swallowing mechanism, so I fed her through a tube for nearly 9 months. She became my life-size human baby, and I, you know,
So, we're talking about your mom, and we're talking about all this going on. Where were you at this point? What were your feelings? You got a heart. You got feelings. You got stuff.
well, I was recovering from 10 years of abdominal operations after a near fatal car accident. And when Ruby came home, we didn't think I would live. So I wrote her screenplay. My mom has written parts of this screenplay, which is really exciting. And she wanted to be a writer her entire life. So I hope to sell it. I'm very excited about
Okay,
it.
so let's get to the selling part of this and make your mother's wish come true.
That's
Although
right.
she has passed, it doesn't make any difference because she's up there floating around. She's probably watching us and making sure I say the right thing.
Yeah, and you just said the perfect thing. You did.
Well, no, that wasn't me. That was her telling me what to say.
Yeah,
If you believe in all that stuff.
You said the perfect thing, because that's what.
Is that what you want?
Yeah. Well, if I could help where nobody else has to go through what she went through again, because you just don't want to see anybody. My mom didn't know to pull her pants up in the middle of a road. She had no mental functioning whatsoever.
She didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah, she didn't. She was not able.
But we take life so naturally. I mean, we take up life every day, 24 hours. We get up, we go to sleep, we eat, we do all these crazy things. And, it's...
It was so great when she came home. We told each other the story every day, how she was found, how I saved her, how she came home. It's our favorite story. And
so this is now in book form, which is going to be a movie.
Well, it's a script.
It's a script. So tell me what you want. So you want to sell the script, or you want sponsors for the script?
I want
What do you want?
an Academy Award caliber actress to play my mom,
And
like
who
a
do you have
Jamie
in
Lee
mind?
Curtis or Pamela.
Jamie
Sue
Lee
Martin.
Curtis.
Yeah, that's the look. See, my mom was
Who else do you
tall
want?
and slender, and by this time, she had lost a lot of weight, and so I did stunts and worked with these women in my early career.
So you kind of know them.
Well, I haven't seen, I did do Hardy Boy Nancy Drew Mysteries and did stunts for Pamela Sue Martin. And she was just amazing back then, and it was so exciting. Those were some of my first jobs. And then I did work on one film with Jamie Lee Curtis. But it has to go through the agents and the managers and the producers.
That's not a problem because the story hits itself. The story is amazing. It's not a matter.
It is.
Oh, she's a great woman, by the way.
It was so great.
I can tell, but just by the look on your face.
Yeah, it was just wonderful, and
So you've got who's going to be your dad, and then who's going to be you? Who do you want?
Well,
Put the word out there. Who? Jamie Lee Curtis. Hello. She's a great woman, by the way.
I know. I would love Pamela Sue Martin.
Pamela
Today
Sue
looks
Martin.
just like my mom when she was
Well,
founded.
there you are, Pamela. Come on
I
in.
know. I
hope
it
you
would
see
be,
this.
It
I'm
would
going to
be
tell my
fabulous.
producer to get in touch with Pamela.
Now, for me,
Jamie?
they would be, I'm 35 to 45. My mom in the film, she goes 55 to 65,
Yeah.
54 to 64, and 34 to 44. So it would be me at 34 to 44.
Okay.
And I was...
Would you want to play yourself?
Well, no, I wouldn't. I could maybe play 50s still, but
So
I
you
couldn't
could,
play.
you could play the end part of you.
Well, what I'd like to play, if I do play a role, would be the nurse who saved my mom. And she's
Oh,
still
okay.
my friend on Facebook. She
Okay.
saved my mom, and I would like a role in it, because I have been acting for 45 years, and
She kind of knows a little something.
yeah, right, right.
She knows a whole lot. believe
And
me.
I've got a successful book
She is
out
being
on
very
the craft
humble.
of writing. But I would like to play something. it's important.
So we'll make sure, so the script is out there. And what was the name of the script again?
And I want to also say that the screenplay is a combination of A Beautiful Mind, The Elephant Man, and The Sixth Sense. It's very spiritual and mystical, and then it's got this horrific thing with my mom, which went through on, with these tumors, this massive brain lymphoma and stuff, and it's called Who's Gonna Take Care of Me? It was a lost and found gem because my mom's name is Ruby.
So Who's Gonna Take Care of Me is the name
Who's
of
Gonna
the
Take
script.
Care of Me?
That's absolutely amazing. How far, and is it completely finished?
It's completely finished. It's been pitching. It's had, if you can believe this, it's had 15 reads from major companies. Everyone has sent a note saying this is a very strong project. It's not for us right now, but this is such a great project.
Yeah,
so
it
they
is.
feel the
This
same.
is just a matter of getting into the right hands, and
That's right.
hopefully with our show, Vegas Live with Ninon, and this is what we actually do. We help people in the entertainment writers and everybody else out there to get them out there so people can notice what they have and what she has. And this is very, very powerful. Very powerful.
It is mind-blowing, and I've been writing scripts for 20 years, so it's structured just beautifully, and I'm looking forward. I'm getting
It's like
ready.
I'm looking at her. I'm looking at this woman. I'm thinking to myself, what a beautiful heart.
Thank you so much.
You have a beautiful heart.
Thank you.
I don't know. Marneen, you are something else. She's absolutely amazing. Now, how can anybody? I'm trying to control myself. Get myself back to. How can people get in touch with you?
Through IMDb, and that's just Marneen Fields, Marneen Fields, Fields.
That's absolutely amazing. Her story, I think telling this story, and this is not the first time you've told the story, she has to tell this story all the time. That really...
Thank you so much. And you are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, sweet. But that's pretty, bringing her back into the life again. So you don't forget her at all. You don't forget the story. Because we see homeless people out there, but we don't know who they're attached to. So this woman was out there as a homeless woman, and this is the daughter. But,
And I want to just say, if you bring in one person that's been through what my mom's been through, I can't describe to you the blessings. My mom was my miracle seed blessing. And imagine if her story sells, and I would pray when I first brought her home, if I could become a guardian to one, let me become a guardian to millions. It was so powerful that I had done this and the blessings I was feeling. And yes, I would like to do that. I would like to do that.
Beautiful heart. Funny you should say that, because I was renting a piece of property and this girl was limping around, and apparently she got shot when she was pregnant, and she couldn't talk properly, she couldn't move properly, and she wanted to rent, and I happened to have this little tiny place, and I took her into it, and I said, you can rent this. She just jumped. This woman was so elated. She's jumping up and down. She said, I've never ever had my own place. And I'm like, looking at her, and I was, in tears, because I'm looking at a woman. She was homeless. All she had was with her. So I got furniture and did all the stuff. But when you can touch someone's heart, so don't look at these homeless people in a way of being homeless and drugs. Maybe that is the case, but look at it as a different way and help them. Thank you for watching Vegas Live with Ninon. I will control myself and get myself back to normal.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely an amazing guest.
Thank
and
you.
It's wonderful to hear a story like this, which we don't hear that often. Don't forget to tune into YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe. And thank you again for watching Vegas Live with Ninon.